Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. The FOMC meeting's in the books, and even though I didn't get this out beforehand, there's still a ton to unpack. The Fed's latest call, tariff chaos, and crypto's wild moves are shaking things up. Today, I'm breaking it all down and giving you my updated price targets for the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, two markets I'm watching closely right now. Stick around for the charts and my take on where we're headed. First up, the Fed. The FOMC meeting wrapped up yesterday, March 19th, and they kept interest rates steady at 4.25% to 4.5%. No shock there, market saw it coming, but here's the twist, Fed chair. Jerome Powell hinted at two possible rate cuts later this year, maybe dropping rates to 3.75% to 4% by December. They also cut their GDP growth forecast to 1.7% from 2.1% and bumped inflation to 2.7%. Powell's pointing the finger at Trump's tariffs, saying they're already pushing prices up and could keep inflation sticky. Stocks took it in stride, no big panic, but the vibe's cautious since those cuts aren't guaranteed. On to tariffs. These are still a mess. Since March 4th, the US hit Canada and Mexico with 25% tariffs and upped China's to 20%. The fallout's been brutal. The S&P 500's down over 10% from its high, and financials like Citi and Bank of America tanked 8% and 7.5% in a day earlier this month. Autos are reeling too, despite a one-month delay on some tariffs. Canada's firing back with $20 billion in duties on US goods, and China's slapping 15% on our farm stuff. This trade war's got investors spooked about growth and costs, and the Fed's wait and see isn't exactly a comfort blanket. Now, crypto, it's doing its own thing. Bitcoin was sitting around $81,300 before the FOMC news and likely held steady or ticked up a bit today after Powell's rate cut tease. That's a shift from last week's dip to $87,000 after Trump's crypto summit. The strategic Bitcoin reserve with 200,000 BTC in the stash keeps the bulls hopeful, but no new buying plans from the US left some traders shrugging. Altcoins like XRP and Solana popped 33% and 22% earlier this month, but cooled off since. With tariffs stirring inflation fears, some cash might be flowing into crypto as a hedge, but it's still a wild ride. There's the rundown. Fed's holding steady with cuts on the horizon, tariffs are hammering stocks, and crypto's a mixed bag of hope and chaos. Next up, I'm diving into my price targets for the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, charts and all, so don't go anywhere. Alright, time for the good stuff. Let's jump into the charts. I'm focusing on the Nasdaq and Bitcoin today, two markets I think are key right now. I'll walk you through my short, mid, and long-term targets, plus how I'd trade them. Here we go. First, the Nasdaq. Right now, it's trading in a sideways trend, sitting in my target zone between 19,900 and 20,800. Pretty tight range, right? That's where I see it consolidating after all this tariff and Fed noise. For trading it short term, I'd set a stop loss at 21,000, just above the range, to protect against any breakout. Midterm, I'm eyeing a potential drop to between 18,200 and 16,900. That'd be a sweet buy zone if it gets there. Great value for tech. There's an alternative scenario where it could crash below 16,000, but I'm not betting on that yet. Still keep it in mind. Long term, over the next 5 years, I've got two paths. In my primary scenario with another strong correction, my target's between 24,000 and 31,000. If we dodge that big dip in the alternative, we could see smoother gains, but I lean toward the correction play for now. Next up, Bitcoin. Short term, I see it in a correction period after that $87,000 dip. My sell target's between $109,000 and $121,000. Pretty ambitious, huh? I'd trade that with a stop loss at $75,500 to lock in gains or cut losses. Midterm, if it hits $109,000, I'm bracing for a massive correction. Could lose 55% to 76% from that high. That puts my buy zone between $48,000 and $26,000. If we hit that, it might be the last chance to grab BTC this cheap, so keep your eyes peeled. Long term, over 2 years, I'm super bullish. If you buy around $48,000, you could see 200% to 433% gains. Think $144,000 to $256,000. If it dips lower to $26,000, my target's still in that $190,000 to $256,000 range. Either way, BTC's got big potential if you play it right. So that's my take. Nasdaq's chilling sideways with a midterm dip coming, and Bitcoin's set for a wild ride up, down, and way up again. These are my calls based on the Fed, Fed, tariffs, and market vibes. But crypto and stocks can surprise us, so let me know your thoughts in the comments.